So, Shawna, have you seen the latest product to kill that belly fat in a hurry?
Oh my gosh, let's just add that to the pile of BS marketing out there. Allie, let's dive into some of the tricks and tactics that marketers are using to get you to spend your hard-earned money.
Welcome to the Girls Talk Healthy Aging podcast, where we dive deep into pressing health and fitness issues facing aging women. I'm Alli Kerr.
And I'm Shawna Kaminski. And together we'll bring candid conversations, expert advice, and personal stories that will inspire and empower you on your own wellness journey. Hey, Allie, I want to talk about a pet peeve today. And I think we probably have a similar one. And it has to do with all the internet, social media scams out there regarding fat loss and all the BS that you see online. Is it just me, or is it you too?
No, it is definitely me too, and definitely something that is challenging for clients that I work with, for the ladies that I work with that truly want to see results and want to have a better life, and they get distracted because there are so many things out there that are promising them amazing things and quickly, and they don't know what to believe. And they end up, a lot of gals have done about 1 million things before they come and see me. And I'm sure you have the same, right?
Yeah. And it's overcoming that, because people they've been so disappointed before. They kind of think, well, why would this work? Everything else has not worked in the past. And, a little history, I'll just back up a bit. Allie, you and I met in a business coaching group where we actually learned how to write sales copy and how to write compelling sales copy so that we could, gain customers. And it's, the thing is everybody's selling all the time. I mean, when you're saying, hey, I want chicken over beef for dinner, you're selling your family on what you want. So sales are everywhere.
Yes.
And like, not just on social media and television, print, that kind of thing. Like, everybody's always selling. And I think it's really important that we start to become aware of some of the tactics. Do you want to just dive into some of the things that we learned as copywriters?
Yes. So one of the things that we learned that is a big deal is you have to get someone's attention if you want to sell them something. That's the first thing. Is you can have the best, I could be the best trainer in the world. You could be the best coach in the world, online coach. And if nobody knows that, then we have no customers. And so you have to get someone's attention, get their eyes on you first and foremost. And so with any of these products out there, that is one of the first things that you're going to be scrolling on your phone or whatever, and you're going to think some things are going to catch your attention and some things you're just going to scroll past. And there's so much noise now because we have so much information online that there's so many different things, solutions out there, that it has become that much harder to get people's attention, which then means that the tactics that you use are that much crazier, that much more extreme to get people's attention. So one of the big things that you and I learned is the power of a headline. And you can see this now in whether it's news or whether it's a product or whatever, that headline is the first thing you're going to see. That's what's going to grab your attention. And so the more extreme or crazy or compelling that headline is, the more likely you're going to be able to get someone to stop scrolling and read beyond the headline and maybe click on it so that you can get them as a customer.
Yeah. And sometimes it's really controversial, or, to just grab your eyes. And then, so what it's called is a hook. And so, in the group that we would be in, that would sometimes be like the big thing in writing sales copy, is trying to develop a hook. And oftentimes that hook was something a little bit crazy
Yes.
to stop the scroll, to get people. And the idea of sales copy, the idea of one line is just to get you to read one more line, to get you to read one more line, to get you closer to that buy button. And I'm not saying, and neither are you, Alli, that this is a good or a bad thing. This is just a fact.
Yes. And we just want to make our, like, I think it's so helpful and powerful. I feel more powerful knowing and understanding as a consumer, having an understanding of how it works. And so that's why I wanted to share this with, with people.
Because there are lots of legitimate sales copies out there. Like, I would like to think that any copy you or I are putting out there, or lots of our colleagues are putting out there, are great products. And you have to have sales copy. That also makes you legitimate. If you're just selling something out of the trunk of your car, probably not as legit. And especially when you're selling a coaching service or some kind of service, you have to have some kind of print to explain what you're offering, what the assets are, the cost, that sort of thing. So let's talk about some of the ways to determine what is a legitimate product and what is not so legitimate. What are some tips that you would like to share?
Yeah, let me first back up, just because I know we talk about the term sales copy because you and I know what we're talking about, but maybe other people may not understand what we're even talking about. So, and I think you did just explain it by saying, basically, it can be video, it can be written text, it can be, a podcast, we're basically selling to people, hey, we want to help you find ways to have a better life. There's so many different types of, it's basically any type of tool. Persuasive tool that's used to get someone to buy a product, to buy into, if I were running for, president of my house or whatever, then I would be using that. I want to get you to, to choose me, or if I want to sell your product, I want to get you to choose me. So I've got to have some kind of way to convince you. And so that's basically what we're talking about. And so you were asking what, and the strategies behind that, what is a way that you can tell from something that's legit versus something that is maybe not so legit. And that is hard.
Yeah. Can I just back up and say, while sales copy is used in all genres, like, from religion to politics to
charity,
selling services, let's limit our conversation, because we are, Girls Talk Healthy Aging. Let's limit our conversation to health.
Oh, yeah.
Just to preface that. But it can, I just wanted to, point out that, hey, when your preacher's talking to you, he's selling. Is he legit? Is he got a good heart? Probably. But then there's always that dark side of someone that might not be. So, but we're going to narrow it down to like the health space anyway. So give us your top tips on how to spot sales copy that may not be legitimate, how to test it.
So one of the things that sales copy typically does, people say if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is kind of thing. And I'm going to say it's hard, even as someone who's educated on this and who knows how to do it, and I can write it myself. I can write sales copy. I know how to do it. I know all the tricks. And so I can probably talk more about that than even how to, it's hard to know when something is, if you're just buying it online, and you don't have, because even reviews, a lot of people look at reviews, but even reviews are not 100% legit, not even close. When you go and buy a product online, those reviews are bought and paid for. Those reviews are swapped out between people that have products. I'm going to write reviews for you. You write reviews for my products. So there's this whole background world that goes on. And so I guess to say, it would be just to say that it is tough. And so I think the best thing we can do is to become more educated on how it works. And then I think the more knowledge you have about it, the more you can question things and do some looking into more about what's behind this product, who's behind this. It's especially for the average person, because most people are not going to go read studies if they are going to quote some studies in the, because people always
often do.
which is very popular to quote some kind of study when you're
Yeah.
doing something on sales, or multiple studies, and say there's this new trick that's been discovered. And it's, the more obscure the something that people haven't heard of before is always considered the best type sales copy, because again, you got to catch people's attention. If it's the same old stuff they've heard over and over, you might not catch their attention. So if you can say it's some obscure, we found this special soul in this country far, far away, and you put it on your skin, and now we've taken that out and we put it in this capsule and you can swallow it and you're going to get these same amazing benefits. That is going to be more compelling than truth. And things that work a lot of times are not real simple. They're not real fast, and they're not something
sexy
to swallow.
either. Yeah. Can I add into that? So because like, the regular person might be an expert in some areas, but not health. So one of the first things I do is I run it by someone that I feel that I respect in the area, so I will run it by an expert. I will do a lot of Google searching. And so I will look at the actual study and see, what has been determined. I will check that study in Google Scholar. So there's a thing called Google Scholar. You put it in there and all those studies have, they're more legit than, like I could do a study with 5 people and determine some result that may, might say 80% have had this result, but the sample size was 5 people and it's not been retested. It's not been, so you can quote any kind of study. So
let me say this, Shawna, you're a unique individual, and me too. We have had, because of our backgrounds and our education, we've had to read studies, and we've had to, but I would just say the majority, and some of our listeners, I'm sure would do the same, but there's also going to be a cohort of people that even if they were to read a study, studies are not easy reading. You really go and read a study. It's not easy reading. It's not easy to understand. And so, I mean, a lot of people, that's just not going to be realistic, but I do love, but for those of us that can do that, we should. I totally agree. And those of us that can, that have experience reading studies and interpreting that jargon, we should, and that understand the different things about what qualifies a study, what makes a study legit, looking at the sample size, looking at the results. And then but the thing I really like that we can all do is ask an expert, that you said. So I really like that. We can talk to our doctor if it's something medical. We can talk to, my clients can ask me, your clients can ask you if it's something in the health and wellness related field.
And if I don't know, then I ask someone further up the chain.
Exactly.
And so, but sometimes people don't have that expert that they have access to. And so I feel like asking lots of questions. I feel like looking at success stories and before and afters, because oftentimes you'll find the before and after in a multiple of, different products. And here's the kicker is I like to find out whoever's presenting something. I like to look at how they earn money. So when you and I were just talking about an ad we saw, and it was all about, it claimed all about sugar and providing information about sugar. And it's like, okay, well, what is this leading to? And then it's leading to a supplement. So a lot of times experts are going to create a problem where they are the only ones that have the solution. Oh, and it's in this magic water or whatever they're trying
to pill. Take this pill.
Yeah, exactly. And so lots of times the expert will actually create the problem and will pick at a pain point you have and then create it into a bigger problem where they can then lead you to a solution. So if you feel like you're being taken on that consumer journey, then buyer beware. Start asking questions before you press the buy button at midnight when you're not sleeping or whatever the case may be.
Right. And I know for you, and I don't want to speak, well, I'll say this for me. I know that one of the things that, and we see this a lot in the health and fitness space, so many products, and if you were to line all those products up, the amount of them actually do anything that is helpful
Yeah.
is very, very small.
Yeah.
Yes, very minute. And so, and it plays, and we see people pulled in. I mean, it amazes me, and I look, I appreciate if someone is making their living off of, say, multi-level marketing, and that's working for them and they're making a great living. Those products are not the product. The product is actually getting people to sell the product. The actual product that you're selling is just the means of that whole system. And so that's another thing that I look for is, what is
What's
basically kind of what you're saying, what's behind it all? What's behind this? Is it, because if I have a really good product, I don't need to go underground and get all my friends to sell it and line up people under me to go and sell that. That
such a good point.
Is going to be it's going to do what it says, and people are going to love it, and people are going to want it. But if I'm having to, and again, I know people, there are people that make their living doing this. So, but just understand. And that was one of the things when we did our sales copy training, Shawna, one of the big ahas to me was that we were taught how, and this is what happens, folks. I'm going to give y'all a real behind the scenes. This is what folks do. Many times the sales copy is created most times on a good selling product. The sales copy is created before the product is ever created.
Oh, absolutely. You make the copy.
You make the copy first, and you don't even have a product yet, because you don't need a product to sell a product.
You just have to have the hook. You have to have
the hook. Yes. And that was a big aha for me. I was like, wait a minute, what? You mean I write the sales copy and then I go create the product to solve the problem that I tell people that I'm going to solve in the sales copy? But that's exactly what you do. And that's why, same thing with multi-level marketing. I mean, those programs are set up before the products are even created.
Exactly.
So it's like the product is a secondary. They create, how are we going to sell it to the people that we want to sell it and get people under? How do we sell them? That's a whole sales copy in and of itself. You're going to get rich. You're going to make money. You're going to make a living. You quit your job. You can make, this is going to set you free. That is a whole separate row of the sales copy. And then we create the product later that we're going to sell, because here's the other thing that's an aha moment that I realized. And as a consumer, I realized this: if I read something that tells me that this is going to solve my problem, that this product that I buy is going to solve my problem, and I purchase it, and I spend my good hard-earned money to purchase this product, and it's a pill or whatever it is, let's say it's a supplement, and it doesn't do that, am I going to then blame the company that sold me the product that it didn't work? Or am I going to think, well, it probably just didn't work for me, or maybe I just didn't take it like I was supposed to, or as often as I was supposed to? And that's what typically happens, is we blame ourselves, not the lack of, well, they just sold me
credibility
a
product.
Yes.
And especially when you're buying, because so much is sold online. And the point we were talking about just before we got on is like, maybe it was only $15. So it's like, it was $15. But this is the problem. People buy $15 product, $10 product, $20 product, like so many tries, so much disappointment, so much money down the drain. And then when it comes to something legit that might cost more because there's actual value in it.
Yes. Like an expert to help you. Yes. Then people,
they back away from it, because it's like, well, why would I spend, triple digit dollars when I could spend single digit dollars that says it's going to solve the same problem?
Yes. And let's talk about that, the pain point. I'm gonna let you kind of talk. I mean, like, how does that work in sales copy? What is the pain point? How does that, the whole psychology of that? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, well, it's basically, as you're writing your copy, you're really trying to think about, well, how is this person suffering? And one of my biggest pet peeves is menopausal women right now, the new cash cow. Because, sales copywriters are looking at, wow, look at, there's 34 plus symptoms that menopausal women are, suffering from, and they feel like they're misinformed. even their doctors are often haven't caught up with the latest literature. And so it's so easy to fall into a trap of, this little pill is going to cure your hot flashes, or this is good, this pill is going to get rid of your belly fat. And, so they really kind of pick at that scab, promising fast results, painless, you don't have to make much effort, when really in reality, you and I both know that, the free lunch is never free. It's the fast results never come. And it's just the simple habits that actually, it's not like running a marathon every day, but you have to work for it, because if these things worked, everybody would be walking around wrinkle-free, flat belly, best shape of their lives. It's not, I'm not saying it's not that easy. It's easier once you understand how hard it is. You just can't pop the pill. You can't take the shortcut, but the long route isn't as hard as the marketers are making it out to be.
Yeah, that's a great point. That and it's hard for legit things, because I mean, there's so much money behind products that are making money. Really comes back. I mean, that it's hard for like true experts that don't have that kind of huge marketing machine to break through. And that makes it where people just, they get bombarded. We live in this age, and I'm so glad I live now versus other times. I'm so thankful that I live in today's world. We have so much, oh my gosh, so many, we have everything we need and more and more and more. We also have so much access to information at the same time, because there are really no internet police as far as this product is legit, this product is not. There's nobody policing. You can say whatever you want about a product, and there's no one that is going to force you to take that down, unless people start like really truly having adverse effects and are like being hospitalized from your product. Then you're gonna, then that's gonna get some attention. But if you're selling just something that just doesn't do anything, but it's not,
it's benign.
It's benign, it doesn't help, but it's not killing people.
Not killing you. Yeah.
Then you can say whatever you want about it, and there's no one that is going to
come after
stop you. There's no laws that are going to stop you from doing that. And because of that, we get all this information, and it's so hard to sort through. And I find that, I work with clients of all ages, even like some of my teenage clients that just, and even ladies in their 60s and 70s, they can't tell me if a strawberry is a protein, carb, or a fat. Like, they don't know that, but yet they saw on TikTok that they should eat avocado toast or put butter in their coffee or whatever the latest thing is now. But they can't tell me what a strawberry is, what category that falls into. And so we've got a lot of information, but we don't have actual educational information. And I don't want to mess up this quote that I saw, and it really made me think about our topic today and how we look at, and this is something that we have to be open to. And the quote is that we listen to what affirms us versus what informs us, and we don't know the difference.
That's very good, because we're not selling a product, like we're selling emotion. We're selling you to feel better, not and so I also wanted to bring up, where we talk about motivation is one of the reasons that I never sell a product to my clients. I might say, hey, you may consider collagen, or go get an omega-3. And they'll ask me what kind. I'll say, this is what I'm using, but I have no affiliation with this. Right. Because I feel like, and this goes like all the way, we talked about this before, about like bioidentical hormones even, when a doctor says you must have bioidentical hormones, and oh, by the way, I sell them, then it's like, okay, start asking questions, because the person that has created the problem and come up with the solution, is that solution really going to solve your problem, or is that just going to buy them a trip to Hawaii?
Profiting from the solution.
you know? And so, you mentioned that, yeah, there are lots of good products out there, but be careful where you're spending your money. Like the collagen product that's coming from a multi-level marketing company, how is that different than the one you get at the superstore, like at a grocery store? Like,
They spend
how is
more
it
money.
superior? Yeah.
It's superior because they told you in the sales copy how amazing it is.
Yes.
That's the only way.
A lot of times that's the case.
And that's what you're buying. You're buying that sales copy. That's what you're paying that extra money for, all that sales copy.
Yeah. And so I think that it's just really important that people ask questions, ask experts. If you have the ability to just do a Google search, sometimes like with one doctor on the interwebs, I won't mention who he is, but he talks about lectins and how fruit, is going to kill you. So it's just like, I just Googled his name and then scam. And then boom, all kinds of things come up. So you can just Google the name of the product and scam. And sometimes you can do some digging on your own. Or you can look at reviews, but like you said, they're bought and paid for. So you have to question, when the first 100 are like 5-star reviews of, don't go to the 100 that are 5-star, go to the 1-star. What's the problem with this product? Those ones are going to be buried, but those are the ones you got to look at. And sometimes you can tell, like sometimes, I've looked at reviews before, like say even just of a restaurant, and it'll, say, oh, well, there wasn't enough ice in the drink. It's like, okay, well, is this a legit complaint? Like you can kind of vet the source a little bit in terms of like, is this really a legit complaint? But look at the poor reviews, not just the good reviews. And lots of times when we're buying something, we're just going to go to the good reviews because we want to feel good about the sale.
Right. We want to affirm what we are looking for, not inform. Yeah. And I have a funny way with like, if I look at reviews, I actually look at like the 3-star because people can also.
Yes, they can. You're right. They can also might be like the loony bins.
Yeah. Some of the worst reviews can be like that. So I like to look at like the middle of the road.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, Alli, what is your wish for our listeners today when kind of looking at potentially buying something, whether it be online or in a store, like just parting with their hard-earned money?
Oh, my wish would be that we put more time and energy into seeking true answers and not quick fixes. That would be my wish.
Perfect. I couldn't have said that better. Exactly. And just noticing, hey, if something is too good to be true, it quite possibly could be too good to be true. So maybe just digging a little bit deeper and being more willing to take a harder route. Like if it's a long-standing problem, just understanding that it's not going to be fixed in 14 days. Maybe you're going to be feeling a bit better in 14 days, but like, what are they really promising you? So taking a look at those promises and asking if they're realistic. And, if you're looking at, you should be able to find answers asking other customers as well. Whether it's through reviews or like, I know people have contacted me and, like a younger or a lighter person contacted me and said, hey, I have those last 5 pounds. You ever deal with those people with the last 5 pounds? So I just sent, 3 or 4 people like their results and I've asked them, hey, Tina, could you talk to so-and-so if they are interested, if they reach out to you, could you tell what your experience is? And then I don't tell them what to say. They're just going to legitimately say what their experience was. So, especially when it's working with someone, like
that's the great thing about you. And you have people that can really talk to other people. When you go online, you buy some obscure product, you're really just reading reviews. But like when you work with a real expert, you can really talk to real people that they've also worked with, which is.
Yeah. And same with you. Yeah. And so I think idea of, not looking for the quick fix and really looking deeper at the motivation of the sale, not just buying on emotion, like you had mentioned.
Thanks for listening. You'll find me, Alli, on Instagram at Alli Kerr Fitness.
And you'll find me, Shawna, on Instagram at Shawna Kaminski. Feel free to pop us a DM with questions and or feedback.
Until next time, be healthy and be happy.